Everybody, welcome back to the Halo Power YouTube channel. I'm Trevor, and I'm here again with Mr. Kevin Staigh from Halo Power. How's it going today, Kevin?
Very good, Trevor. How are you?
I'm doing great, man. I'm doing great. So you did a thing this last week. You fired up a bunch of people online, and it's regarding a sensitive topic to some Sparkies out there regarding federal Pacific panels and the dangers of them.
Yeah.
So tell me what you did, and let's hammer into it and maybe upset some more people.
Well, it's no secret. I am quite outspoken about the issues with federal panels, federal Pacifics especially. And I mean, they're everywhere, especially in Sherwood Park, Strathcona County. We see them in all the homes from 1960s right up to the late 90s and even early 2000s where, the federal pioneer took over those old federal Pacifics. But we see these panels daily, and I see the problems with these panels. So, last week I put out a short video talking about the solution that other electricians have been using of just changing out the old black federal breakers with the newer style Schneiders, or even now you can still buy brand new replacement breakers for these panels. And I said in my video very clearly, anyone that comes into your home and tells you that changing out the old black breakers with a new breaker that you bought at Home Depot and think that's going to correct the problem with your old Federal Pacific panel is full of crap.
Yeah.
And I proceeded to show the footage of this panel we had recently taken out when we did a panel upgrade in Sherwood Park. And you could see the bus bar connections where these federal breakers stabbed into. It had overheated. It was shorting out. It took out a chunk of copper in this bus bar. So, but that was it. It was basically just preaching what I always preach. Replacing breakers in these panels does not fix the problem, and you should not have a reputable electrician coming into your home and telling you this is going to fix a problem. And it triggered a few people on TikTok. I wasn't surprised because I've been down this road before with my thoughts on the federal panel, and I mean it's not like I'm making this stuff up. All you got to do is type it into Google, and you will see that there is so much information out there about the issues with the federal panels, how they're notorious for not tripping on when they're getting overloaded. It could be up to 60%. And you'll also read about the class action lawsuit that was filed against federal in the U.S. years ago because of falsified test results. So, again, I don't make this stuff up, but there is some people in our industry that are hell-bent on defending the honor of the federal panel. And I love firing them up. So this is it, because I think there's a real problem out there with customers being misled. You got a contractor come into your home, tell you, you don't need to replace that panel. We'll just load it up full of new breakers and problem is solved. And my opinion, and the opinion of many other reputable electricians and contractors that I know, is that this is a bunch of crap. You don't replace breakers. You rip that old dinosaur out and you toss it in the landfill and you put in a safe modern electrical panel. So that's how that video went. And again, a few people chimed in with some concerns. So my thoughts is there's two people that would typically get upset about that video.
Okay, who are these two people? Two types of people who would get upset.
Now, this is just my theory. I could be totally out to lunch, but I don't think so. So if you are going to run a business and do a panel upgrade or service upgrade, you need to pull a permit. In order to pull a permit, you need to be a master electrician or have a master electrician pull a permit for you on behalf of your business. So if I'm Joe Blow journeyman electrician on Kijiji or Marketplace that is offering my services, and I come into your home and you want a panel upgrade on your old federal, and I can't pull a permit because I'm not a master, well, I'm going to tell you, let's just put new breakers in that panel. So it could very well be that some of the guys that were getting upset are those electricians that have been telling their customers this is a proper way to fix your old federal panel, because they couldn't pull a permit and do a proper panel upgrade for this customer. So my theory there, that's number one.
Number one. Okay, who's number two?
The other guy is the guy selling all the used breakers on Marketplace. Because man, oh man, you go on Marketplace or on Kijiji and you type in federal breakers, and there is guys selling boxes and boxes and boxes of these old, outdated dinosaur breakers that they pulled out of some panel from 1965, and they're selling them for 5, 10, 20, in upwards of hundreds of dollars. I have seen federal GFCI breakers that you would use for a hot tub where guys want like $400 or $500 for these things, and they belong in the garbage.
Yeah.
So, sure. Yeah, that's my thoughts on who's getting upset. Because again, anybody in our industry that deals with these federal panels, runs a reputable business, is not going to recommend to their client to just change breakers in the panel.
No, and I think people need to understand that it's not about just making a sale for the sake of making a sale.
No kidding.
The big idea behind this is safety. It's not about anything but safety, because these things, they don't trip, they overheat. And once you've got overheating in a panel on the federal stab block panels, the expansion and contraction over years and years and years, you're just going to continue perpetuating that problem with a new breaker. And if you had the old stab block black breakers in place and you put a new one in, and you're probably going to start experiencing tripping all the time, nuisance tripping, because they're built to a better standard. They will trip. So then the real problem will show its head. So then you're going to be looking at repairing whatever the problem was, why that thing should have been tripping but wasn't in the first place. Tell me I'm wrong.
No, I can't tell you wrong, because you're absolutely right. Yeah. And, when it comes to the existing breakers in these panels, it's one extreme to the next. We've had breakers that we literally had to pull out of the panel with a pair of pump pliers because it was welded in where that stab lock head on the breaker stabs into the bus bar. Or you pull the panel cover off and the breakers fall right out because that connection is so poor that there's nothing left to even hold the breaker in. And there you go. And you nailed it. You got overheating. You got sparking, arcing. You've got a fire hazard. So, I mean, you wouldn't put new shingles on a rotten roof. Why the hell are you putting new breakers in an old federal panel?
Exactly. Yeah. I was thinking of all kinds of analogies, right? Like you're thinking of, let's say a furnace with a blown out heat exchanger.
Sure.
Yeah, that's not going to do you any good. It's unsafe. You could, die from carbon monoxide poisoning. The thing could catch on fire. There's all kinds of problems that could happen, or a water heater that's leaking. Yeah. You're not just going to stick some gum on it and keep it going, right? So really what we're talking about is if people have a federal panel, and, right now it's the best time for you to get it changed because it is a safety hazard. It's a fire hazard. And I think, down the pipe, you're going to have to change it anyways because of insurance.
You're right. I'm beginning to see some rumblings in our insurance industry. We actually did have a customer last year who was a Wawanesa client that was not going to be insured because of their federal panel. So we did end up changing that one out. And I could see things going in that direction. I mean, we already see with aluminum wire, it's no secret that aluminum wire has a whole slew of problems. And I'm sure there's the defenders of the aluminum wire out there as well. Put on your tinfoil hat and think that we're all spewing a bunch of nonsense and this isn't really happening. Well, sorry. Aluminum wire, that's another topic we could talk about. But on the federal panels, I mean, why would you want to put your home, your family at risk having this notoriously dangerous panel in your home? And I don't care if you've had one in your home for 50 years and it's never, ever given you a problem. It's never tripped a breaker. I don't know. I'd be a little concerned about that because that is the issue with these panels. The breakers do not trip. So In fact, we have done panel upgrades in homes where we put in a new modern panel, like a Schneider Homeline, a Square D, an Eaton, Siemens. And then we find that the customer has tripping breakers. Why was that? Because they had circuits that were so badly overloaded, and now the new modern safe panel is tripping the way it's supposed to. Well, it didn't happen on my Federal. You're darn right it didn't, because that's what they don't do.
Yeah, therein lies the problem, right?
You betcha.
That's the problem. So really, people who are, let's say an electrician would come in and say, we just need to replace the breakers. So it's, I think, a lack of knowledge in one sense, because, yeah, they might be able to justify it in their own mind thinking, well, the problem with these breakers is they don't trip. So if we put in a new modern one that still goes in the same place, replace breaker for breaker, then it should be fine, because, you know, it'll trip when it's supposed to. However, what's lying beneath it? What's the condition of the bus bar? What is the condition of the wires that were there before? Are they all melted back? Like, there's a lot of different things, a lot of different worms that start crawling out once you start digging below the surface, right? And I think that, you know, that it's completely unjustified to just replace breakers, for the exact reason that you pointed out. Is like, as soon as you put in that new modern breaker, if the circuit was overloaded before, it's just going to start tripping and being a nuisance. So there's more problems for you to solve.
Well, and don't get me wrong. I mean, if you need to replace a breaker in your panel and your intention was not to get an upgrade, or, you know, maybe you've got an old Federal panel and the guys are coming in and putting air conditioning in for you. I mean, they're going to install a new breaker in that panel. Yes, that's what you will do. But to come into someone's home and say, you don't need to replace this, we're just going to swap out all these breakers with these shiny new ones and problem solved, that's what I have a real issue with.
Yeah.
So, and you know, on a sidebar with that, I was on the Home Depot website and I was looking at the arc fault breakers that you can buy for your Federal stab lock panel. And here's what's really interesting about it. First of all, if you need a 15 amp arc fault breaker that you buy at Home Depot for your panel, they're about $200. And when you read the fine print right on the Home Depot website, it says, these breakers are not code compliant. They don't meet the requirements of Canadian electrical code because they are not a combination arc fault breaker. And I'm not going to go into detail on the difference, but not right now. But there you go. You got a very expensive breaker that a contractor could sell to a customer who does not know that these things aren't even code compliant, mark it up even more, walk out of there maybe with a $500 sale in his pocket on a breaker that doesn't even meet our code requirements for today, but yet you can still buy them at Home Depot. And it just says, you know, you could use this as a replacement for an existing one, but it does not meet today's code requirements.
Amazing.
Yeah. Like, what kind of a scam is that?
Right? That's crazy.
So,
awesome.
Yeah. So I think my thoughts on Federal are pretty clear, and I'll fight to the death on that one.
Yeah.
I said it in my short video, and I'll say it again right now. If someone comes into your home and tells you that replacing the old Federal breakers with these new shiny breakers in your old Federal Pacific panel will solve the problem with the bus bar and the panel issues, kick their ass out the door, Trevor.
All right, sounds good. Hey, if you guys are in the Sherwood Park area and you have one of these Federal Pioneer panels or Federal Pacific panels, call Kevin Staigh at Halo Power and get that thing out of there. Just get it out. All right.
Happy to come out and give you a complimentary quote for it, and we'll be thrilled to send that thing off to the crusher.
All right.
Awesome.
See you guys on the next video.
Thanks, Trevor.